I found this movie just fascinating. Like I was drawn in immediately.
We're here to offer you a cookie to come and hang out with us and listen to our review of Babygirl. This has not come out until Christmas, but this is one of the buzzed about films of award season. Nicole Kidman, what did she win at Venice for this?
I want to say yes.
Yeah, she won something somewhere, but a lot of buzz for that performance and for just the daring of this film in general. So I knew we wanted to talk about it. Alonso's been raving about it for many months. And so here we are now that it's coming out. So come subscribe, because this kind of movie right here is exactly what we love to do, talking about, you know, daring, weird little art house movies. And if Harris Dickinson's in it, we're going to talk about it.
I mean,
Alonso, what's it about?
I've never experienced anything like this.
So yeah, this is Halina Rein's follow-up to Bodies, 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 starring Nicole Kidman as a high-powered corporate CEO. She's married to Antonio Banderas, who is a successful theater director. They have two adorable daughters. Everything would seem to be perfect in this woman's life. But it is made clear early on that she is sexually unfulfilled in her marriage. She has specific desires and wants that are not being met. Enter Harris Dickinson, a new intern at her company, who pretty quickly clocks what those desires are and how he might best fulfill them. And it puts Nicole Kidman in a tricky situation. But what it doesn't do is put her in the sort of crosshairs of judgment. This movie is not here to punish or judge or scold this woman for wanting what she wants. It's kind of a fetish coming out movie. It's about this powerful woman being able to finally say to herself and to her husband, hey, I want this specific thing, and that's okay. And I'm all right with that, but I want it and I need it, and it's going to be fulfilling for me. And so how that plays in with what her life as a powerful executive is like, her life as a wife and mother. I found this movie just fascinating. Like I was drawn in immediately. You know, in the first few scenes, you just know, like, okay, there's going to be a lot happening here, and there's a lot going on with this character, and the movie really, you know, deliberately unpacks it all in a really fascinating way without ever kind of falling back on easy sort of like pop psychology or, you know, just making it too easy on, well, you know, she wants this because of that. Like, it's, people aren't that simple, and the film understands the complexity of human desire and human behavior. P.S. It's a Christmas movie. So if you wanted a co-feature to go with your Nicole Kidman gets horny at the holidays movie with Eyes Wide Shut, you now have a double feature.
It definitely has shades of Eyes Wide Shut, and that it takes place in New York City at Christmas time, and just like the glow of the lights and how that contrasts with the chill of the outside, and the, you know, she is somebody who, and her hair is kind of similar too, right? Like it's like piled up a lot with tendrils coming down. So I wonder if that's an intentional homage to that. But just how she, you know, has in both films this very carefully manicured life that falls apart, but in the service of truth. And that's interesting. And that tension's interesting. How can she maintain the perfect family and maintain control? Yeah, it'd be easy to say like, oh, she exerts so much control in her professional life that this is like the way she gets off. And I don't think it's that simple. I think there's a lot more to it than that. And there's no judgment of that. And watching her come to terms with that is really interesting. She is very expressive here, facially, and in her body, and in her delivery, like the variety of her delivery. And you see her almost like negotiating with herself in certain moments as to how much will she allow herself to lose control. Right. And you feel the tension brimming in her, but also the sense of release that is like right there within arm's reach, if only she'll reach out and grab it. Like, it's a really fascinating bit of tension, and also just the sense of place here in this very sleek, very rarefied Manhattan. Halina Reijn uses glass very effectively in terms of you know, concealing and reflecting, and just to suggest power. I mean, like the office that she has and the way that she dresses. I love the costume design here because it's all like creams and neutrals and like light grays, and it's not power suit. It's not like dark with pinstripes. It's like her soft calm version of control, and it's
Quiet
armor.
luxury.
What's that?
Quiet luxury.
It is. It's stealth wealth. It's like the stuff that Gwyneth Paltrow wore to court every day in Utah.
It's what you would get at the Row.
Totally right. And like the same incredible coat in like ivory and in camel. But then when she does choose to wear color and does choose to wear, there's like one gown she wears to her husband's opening night that is asymmetrical and like destructured, and that says a lot too as far as who she's trying to convey herself to be. So she's got a really strong sense of the self that she projects to the world, and how that deviates from who she is on the inside is a fascinating source of humor and tension. She and Harris Dickinson are great together, and again, I think we talked about this in Triangle of Sadness too. Like, I love the choices he makes because he's so impossibly beautiful and like lean and tall. He's like 6'2" and like muscly, and just like he's a gorgeous young man, but he's also interested in really daring material. If you look at Beach Rat, Triangle of Sadness,
Blitz.
He's not in Blitz enough. I wish there were more
he's
of him.
Not. But the fact that he's working with Steve McQueen is like, you know, he's not going for the easy paycheck. You know?
It'd be so easy to be like just a handsome romantic lead, you know, or to like sign on for a superhero movie or something. And he chooses to work with directors who have something to say. So I love this choice, and they have incredible chemistry. And just the way that Halina Reijn, like, again, the female gaze, the way she lets these scenes play out, the sex scenes are done in a way that is incredibly hot sometimes, but also very suspenseful. But also with no judgment, and with like a care and a room for vulnerability. Yeah,
I mean, they are sex scenes, I think, that build character, that tell, you know, in the same way that a musical number can tell you pages worth of dialogue about a character or about a desire. Like, the sex scenes really tell you so much about who these people are and what they want. And you can tell that Nicole Kidman is really pushing it in terms of like her on-screen physicality. And there is always that sense of like, the female gaze. You have the woman director who is making sure that she's taken care of, and that she can be freer and more daring, and it's never going to cross a line to where it becomes exploitative, or, you know, it becomes objectification. Reijn, I think, has a really, is it Reijn or Reijn?
I thought it was Halina Reijn.
Reijn, okay. Reijn, I think, has a real control over all of this, but without it making feel too like she's not Kubrick. And I mean that in a good way, you know. There's something about the sexuality of Eyes Wide Shut that never quite explodes, because nothing explodes in a Kubrick movie, whereas this one does feel a little looser and a little more dangerous in that way.
And if she is being objectified, it's because she wants to be.
Right.
Like, it's her choice to, like, there's a line, right? And like, he's making her do things, but she also wants to do those things, and he wants to make sure that she wants those things. They have a whole discussion about consent. I was going to say, this movie has a really fascinating observations about consent, because even in a situation where like somebody wants to be someone wants to relinquish their own power, even within that, there are lines to be crossed and lines not to be crossed. And these characters kind of have to figure out what those are and how that works. Yes. Plus, it's also like a workplace romance, and like, what are the dangers of that? So that's a whole other source of tension. Sophie Wilde is very good as her assistant.
Yes.
Who's extremely capable and like wants to move on, but cannot for a lot of reasons, and that's interesting. And then Esther McGregor, Ewan McGregor's daughter, plays Nicole Kidman's daughter, which is interesting. It's almost like, is this part of like the Moulin Rouge cinematic universe?
It's the kid they could have had,
right? And she is good too, and she's really intuitive as to what's going on with her mom. She doesn't know what it is, but she knows that it's something.
Right. So. I mean, the stem to stern, everybody here is great, but I mean, this really is it's kind of a two-hander in a way. I mean, Banderas has a couple of interesting scenes, but really it's all about Kidman. It's all about Harris Dickinson. And I loved the fact that this movie really could talk about sex in a way that felt mature and interesting and smart, and like we're all grown-ups here. We can talk about this stuff, we can present this stuff and explore these avenues, and it's not like
It's that titillating.
exactly. Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, although it is, I think for a lot of viewers will probably find it that way, but that's not all it has on its plate. So I saw this back in August, and this is still definitely, I've yet to sit down and write my top 10 list, but this is absolutely going to be very high up there.
What's your number then?
I'm at 9.5. I think this is an excellent movie. I really want people to see it.
Great. I will say a 9. It's great. So Babygirl comes out on Christmas Day. Go see it. Take a date.